Okay. All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. And let's see, we always begin, of course, with a pledge to the flag, which there's nothing like hearing everyone's voices in unison, keeping the same time and rhythm as we do a pledge to the flag. And so to lead us, I'd actually like to call on my colleague, Steve Napolitano, and if I could give you the microphone and you could lead all of us in unison, that would be terrific. Could you come all the way up here?
Yeah. She'll have to explain why she's doing this later, but I know why. Please put your right hand over your heart and pledge with me to the flag of the greatest nation on the face of the earth. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was really good. Now, do you get it? Where's the Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah.
Of course. I actually will do that. Yeah, can we get a photo? We have a certificate.
Oh, God. All right. Thank you.
So if we could get a photo, we're going to look over here. Come on, Richard, David. Oh, that's so yeah, move it. Yes, thank you. Aww. Okay, that's silly. Okay, and also, but is there anyone in the audience you'd like to point out here to support you?
That's half my speech.
No, okay, all right. Family, he'll talk about you later. Okay. Thank you for the indulgence.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, if you could do the roll call.
Councilmember Napolitano,
Still here.
Councilmember Montgomery,
I am here.
Councilmember Franklin.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lesser.
Here.
Mayor Howard.
Here. Okay. At this point, ceremonial calendar, no wait, Madam City Clerk? Quick question, I'm to go through this whole thing, right? The
Yes.
public, yes, okay. We have several agendas here tonight. There's no ceremonial. If I could get an approval of the agenda and waiver a full reading of ordinances. I'm waiting for him.
Oh, you want me to? All right.
It's been moved by Councilmember Montgomery, seconded by Councilmember Napolitano. They have learned how to do that. Great.
Still working on it.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. I turn to my colleagues now to find out if there are any announcements from my colleagues of upcoming events. Okay, Councilmember Montgomery.
Just a council, not a really upcoming events, just more of a thank you to those people, Parks and Rec and PD and Fire, and of course the Fireworks Association. As former Mayor Mitch Ward knows, it's a lot of work to put that all together, but they pulled it off, and most of you here that went to the Fireworks Association, one of our best ever, and that's in honor of the founder, Pete Moffitt. His son, Tom, took it over, but a big thank you to everyone involved, and we carried it through to anyone the next year, so that's all I wanted to say.
Is there anything coming up on Saturday?
Yes, do you want to talk about that?
I just wanted to turn over to you because that's sort of your project as well.
Okay. Well, those of you free on Saturday, the 32nd annual Beach Cities Toy Drive will be in Hermosa Beach this year. So 11 a.m. at Hermosa Beach Community Center. Is that where's Hermosa Beach? The mayor, is that correct? Yes. 11 a.m. Hermosa Beach a toy drive, and so we like to have as many unwrapped toys as you can for the kids up to teens, and we'll wrap them all into a party. We'll even a restaurant share will donate food and things like food and things to have you show up. So 11 a.m. until all the toys are wrapped. Everyone's welcome, but dress casual because it's on the Hermosa Beach basketball floor. Is that correct? Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, and thank you, Councilmember, for all you've done over the years to support that. Do you have any
Community events?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm open on Tuesday nights, everybody. So if you have any events, let me know.
Okay, well said. All right, at this point, if there's any community member who has an announcement of any upcoming events, you have 1 minute. Please come forward.
Hello, good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Josh Murray. I am here on behalf of Manhattan Beach Library. I'd like to let the teens of the community know that we will be opening the library meeting room this week for you to study for your exams. Come to the library for one last academic push before winter recess. Snacks will be provided, and feel free to bring some of your own. The meeting room will be open for teens as a study space today until 7:30 p.m., Wednesday from 5 to 7:30 p.m., and Thursday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. I hope to see all the teens of the community there. We're already bursting at the seams, so the more the merrier. And thank you for your time.
Great. That's so cool. We don't, thank you. You don't need to clap, but go ahead, Bobby. Yes.
Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem,
Sir.
City Council members, city officials, Mr. Lee, my name is Bobby Bell. I am the education recycling educator for waste management on behalf of Richard Montgomery. Just a couple quick announcements. With the holiday season coming up, Christmas being on a Wednesday, your service will be pushed back one day. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Friday to Saturday. Then we'll be back on our normal schedule after that. In addition to that, we will be picking up your Christmas trees to start on January 26th and run through the 11th. Just put it out there on your normal service day. If it's over 7 feet, please cut it in half, cut it down so it's 7 feet. If it is flocked, we will still pick it up. We just cannot recycle it. Also, for those same dates, if you have extra, any one of the 3 waste streams, if you have extra, just have it bagged up properly and put it in front of the can in which it goes. That's all I got. And with the holiday season, I wish you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and all God's blessings in 2025.
Thank you. All right. Are there any other, and so I'm going to sound like the Grinch, but we appreciate your applause, but let's not, so that we can keep moving, even though that took time for me to say that. Are there any other community announcements of 1 minute? Okay, so now we're going to move on to public comments. Now, public comments are up to 3 minutes per person, and people may provide public comments on any matter that was within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council, including items on the agenda. And I would just like to put out there, if anyone was thinking of speaking about anybody incoming or outgoing, this is probably the time to do it in terms of where on the agenda. So want to put that out there, but otherwise I'm opening up public comments. And seeing none, no, I can see it's your naked kids. Yeah, come on down.
Hi everyone, we are Nina Tarnay's kids. I'm Jacqueline and these are my 2 younger brothers, Chris and Colin. We wanted to team up on this because trying to describe how incredible our mom is takes more than just one voice. First of all, we wanted to say how proud we are of our mom. Seeing her being sworn in as city council member is definitely not surprising to us, nor to the people who know her well. Her combination of ambition, sincerity, and levity propelled her through her campaign and will certainly serve her well throughout her term. For as long as I can remember, our mom has always been the perfect mix of serious and silly. I mean, who else can run the hometown fair 10K in a tutu with a tambourine, when then seamlessly switch into her campaign mode, connecting with the residents and explaining her policies and values. She has shown us that you don't have to choose between hardworking and having fun. You can do both. And honestly, we're still trying to keep up.
One of the coolest things about our mom is how she's not just a leader, she's also just our mom. She's the person who never says no to hosting our friends last minute, who always has enough food for everyone, no matter the case, and who somehow makes it feel like a celebration every single time. She's shown us that kindness and community aren't just things that you talk about, they're things that you live every day.
Even though it's our mom's first rodeo in a public office, we know she's just absolutely going to do a stellar job. Just the wave of support she's kind of received throughout the community really goes to show you that care and actions for others is eventually going to be reciprocated. My mom's push for city council with the help of the community has been really just eventful to watch and really just inspiring. She's really done it in the true Nina Tarnay fashion, tutu and all. And we know she's going to bring that same dedication and creativity to serving Manhattan Beach. Mom, you're our idol. I mean, you work hard, and you really just care for other people, and just through that and showing that you really can make a difference and an impact has been really inspiring.
So thank you and congratulations to Mom, as well as all of those leading our robust community throughout 2025. Thank you.
You can clap. I'm going to call my sons tonight. That was beautiful.
Roman, Noah, nothing?
Yeah. Oh, my God. No, Roman is so you. Okay. Councilmember.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. I want to commend Steve Napolitano for your 20-plus years of exemplary service to the county and our community, and especially on council. No one can, actually match that degree of service and excellence. So again, thank you for your service. I want to also thank outgoing Councilmember Montgomery for his service. And I want to congratulate Steve Sherillian and Nina Tarnay, incoming council members. I know they're going to do a great job, and this incoming council will do great things to improve the quality of life and public safety for our community. So again, congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Other folks, if you do think you want, come on down, kind of line up like a baseball, like it's the World Series on deck.
Good evening.
Hi, Julie.
Julie Justice McGinnity, Friends of Senior and Scout Community Center. This is a bittersweet moment. We are so sad to see council members Napolitano and Montgomery leave the council. You have been stalwart supporters of building the new Manhattan Beach Community Center. We are grateful from the bottom of our heart for all the strategy advice, for the help with fundraising, for your solid votes on the council to support this project. And we're just appreciative of all of you, of course, and looking forward to working with Steve and Nina. We are submitting the newly revised and cost-engineered plans to Public Works tomorrow, and we're going to make this happen. Councilmember Napolitano and Councilmember Montgomery, and you will be proud of it. You've been here through this process the whole way, and we are so grateful. We also do meet on Tuesday evenings, and if you'd like to join our board, we'd be very welcome to have you. Thank you so much.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. And I do hope that people understand, we understand that the new folks coming on, it's very exciting. But, this is a big night for these guys, so that's how we're sharing this. So hopefully y'all understand that. Other folks, don't feel pressure. Okay? All right? Anybody on Zoom?
We have Tom Williams.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, sorry.
Excellent. I was looking for thumbs up, but I guess it doesn't happen here. So too used to the Zoom meetings nowadays. So thank you, obviously, for the ability to address the council. My address will be less festive than everyone else. Those that don't know me, I'm the guy that makes all the videos of people running the stop sign at 6th Street in Valley. So I'm addressing the council today to ask the council to get on its agenda traffic calming measures that were recommended between 10th and 1st Street for Valley Drive as soon as possible. I won't get into the merits of all the recommendations, but I will say that in any given month, 12,000 cars run that stop sign. So I just want to think about that. So 400 cars a day, 150 in the morning, 300 in the afternoon. The traffic patterns don't lie. There's a problem here. It needs to be addressed. A flashing stop sign will not address it. So I do think capital improvements will resolve it. I do think increased police presence will resolve it. As of this year, I've seen exactly 2 law enforcement officers doing traffic stops over the 12-month period. Last year, over a 3-month period, I probably saw about 80. So there's been a drastic change in that pattern. So that's all I have to say. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there other public comments on Zoom? Because I see a few other folks have stepped up here, which is fine, but are there any others on Zoom before I go back to the chambers?
No additional requests on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so there are other, come on, up.
Good evening, Mayor Horwath, members of council. Mr. Napolitano and Mr. Montgomery. This is a huge loss for the city. I don't know. I think when I first came to Manhattan Beach, you might have been my mayor shortly thereafter. And we're a large reason I got into coming to these meetings in the first place. But your history, the number of decisions, your support for residents, particularly downtown, I live downtown, has just been phenomenal. The decisions we've made, the struggles we've gone through as a city, how we've grown, your support for police and fire, the city, staff. You've seen a lot change, and I don't know how many people realize or understand how much institutional knowledge is leaving. And I know you'll be here. You're not going anywhere. I'd be shocked if Steve ever, Mr. Napolitano, Councilmember Napolitano, ever left Manhattan Beach. I know you're not going anywhere. But not having you on the dais we have not always agreed, but I've 100% always respected every decision you made, and most of the time realized the error of my own thinking in terms of
Only others would.
Finally, we need to do this, we need to do this, and oh yeah, that's probably better. And Councilmember Montgomery, just personally, you and I back and forth. I've got my Texas hat on, hook 'em horns.
I brought my Texas
Yeah,
hat.
there you go. Born and raised Southern California, do a lot of work in Texas, a lot of respect for out there. But the number of times text messaging back and forth about issues and what about this and what about that. And when I'm going off on some tangent, reel me back in, and et cetera. I know Mayor Haworth, Councilmember Lesser, you're bringing a lot of history. And then Councilmember Franklin, congratulations to you also. We've got, but just your presence here. I know we're in good hands. I've known Mr. Cerulean for, I don't know, a couple decades probably. Looking forward to working with Nina. But the history that's leaving, thank you for your service. I know that you'll get lots of plaques and certificates, et cetera. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mayor Haworth, Mayor Pro Tem Lesser, and council members. My name is Christine Daviduke, and I've lived and raised my kids in this community. While I've just moved back into the 90266 not too long ago, I have to say I don't remember a time when either Councilman Napolitano or Councilman Montgomery weren't working hard for this city. Now, should I take it personally that you both are stepping off as I move back? I'm kidding, but not really. I appreciate you both so much for your enthusiasm, your wit, and support of those of us who have had the opportunity to know you. You're both such ardent supporters of everything good about Manhattan Beach. Congrats to Councilmember Franklin and the incoming council members Nina and Steve. Nina, as my friend of 2 decades, it's been a joy to support you and your campaign. You've made history with your election, and the city of Manhattan Beach will be a better place for it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, great. Oh, hey, Fred. That's a great sweater. I like your sweater.
Well, happy holidays, Mayor, City Council. It's that time of year. First of all, I want to thank Councilman Napolitano and Montgomery for your longtime service to our city. We didn't always agree on everything, but I think we got along pretty good. Nobody got hurt. I appreciate the countless hours that each of you have invested in serving our city. And congratulations to the 3 winners, Joe Franklin, Nina Tarnay, and Steve Trillian. The long hours of campaigning is overwhelming. Councilman Franklin, we look forward to your continued common sense leadership. And future Councilman Trillian, we look forward to your fiscal expertise that is going to be sorely needed in the days ahead. I do want to mention, at the risk of being a Debbie Downer here, something very heavy on my heart, and that is the way that we campaign here in Manhattan Beach. During the debates, I submitted a question to both the Chamber of Commerce and to the League of Women Voters. And the question was, would you bring DIA hiring to the city? Now, this is a controversy that rages all across our nation. DEI hiring is being rejected by major corporations now after 4 years of trying. The most recent is Ford Motor Company and Walmart. The problem with DEI hiring, in my opinion, is that it puts merit on the backseat to so-called diversity. And we need to hire the best people. When I'm in a plane for United Airlines, I really don't care what color the pilot is. I just want a really good one, the best one they could hire. And locally, we believe that these positions are nonpartisan. But by censoring my question, the chamber and the league became partisan by not allowing the mindset or the worldview of the candidate to be known, whether they were embracing the progressive mindset. And I urge leadership in the city to try and find a better way that questions won't be censored on the basis of politics. Thank you, and I wish you all the best.
Okay. Any other public comments? Okay. Oh, good. Okay. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Sorry. Okay. Hi, my name is Heather Kim, and I just want to say congratulations again to, I always call him Mayor Joe Franklin, because that's who he is to me and to so many of us. I'm so happy that you're reelected to be a councilman. You represent so many of the ideas and values of this community. I'm also thankful to Steve Sherillian here, who is also going to be joining this council, and he has such great knowledge, and I'm just really excited to see what his knowledge will bring the rest of our town. Steve was a first-timer, and he ran a great campaign, so very proud of Steve. And also thanks to, congratulations to Nina Tarnay, who is, there you go. Congratulations.
There's a lot of Tarnays, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I hope that we can bring some more commonalities between, all the different voices in our town. Also want to thank Mayor Haworth. We've been on, you've been at the downtown thing,
Yeah.
and so gotten to know you, and I've gotten to like you, so it's
That's very kind.
so thank you. And also to the two outgoing. Richard Montgomery, I think in 2020 was when we were on Zoom, you kind of forced me to participate. You saw my name on the screen and called on me and unmuted me. So I was forced to say something, and that's kind of how this all started, I believe.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's his fault. I appreciate that. It was a good push to not be shy and ask the questions, and so I appreciate that. And Steve Napolitano, you're just everybody knows who Steve is, right? And one of my fondest memories is really I was starving one day, and you gave me a donut during the council meeting during a break. And I was like, how did he know I was starving? So anyways, it is really bittersweet to see the two of you guys leaving, but also really excited to see what this new council will bring for our town. And then I also have, it's a little bit, it's kind of a community announcement, but my husband and I are really thankful to the community. And December 30th will be our last day. But the store will continue on, so. We are asking the community to help us get rid of some wine inventory. So come on down to Manhattan Grocery. We do have a wine sale going on, and we just can't thank you enough for all of the 1+ years of support. And you guys are not just customers, but you guys are family, and very close friends of ours. So I want to thank every one of you. Thank you.
That's big news.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. All right. Again, any other public comments? Okay. All right. I'm going to close public. Do you have some? No, I'm going to close public comments. And now we move on to the reorganization. So bear with us. There's a few technical things that we do, and then we're going to pay homage to these folks and welcome the new ones in. So I will need a motion to approve the city council minutes. Okay. David Lesser and Joe Franklin. Okay. Call for the question. All right.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. So now, I need a motion to adopt resolution number 24-0138, citing the facts of the November 5th, 2024 election, and direct the city clerk to codify ordinance number 24-00009. That has been moved by Councilmember Montgomery, seconded by Councilmember Napolitano. Call for the question. Yes, sir.
Is there a second?
There was. It was
Yeah.
Councilmember Napolitano.
Okay, so I'm going to read the title of the ordinance. Ordinance number 24-0009, an ordinance adopted by the voters of the city of Manhattan Beach, California, imposing a 0.5% transactions and use tax to be administered by the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration.
Do you still make that motion?
Yes.
Great.
So moved.
Great.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, thank you. So at this time, I'm going to recognize some of our dignitaries in attendance, but the time for presentations by other cities or dignitaries will come in a minute. But I would like all of our former mayors to stand up who are in attendance tonight. Okay? So we have Bob Holmes, Tim Lilligren, Russ Slessor, Wayne Powell, and Mitch Ward. And it's so great. Are there any up there that I can't see with my... So thank you for joining in this peaceful transition. And of course, at the break, there will be a photo with all the former mayors, so stick around. Are there any other... I know that we have Hermosa Beach. I saw Ray Jackson was here. Are you still here, Ray? Over here. And we have Rob Seaman. And where's Dean Francois? And Justin? I saw Dean. Justin? I'm here. He's here. He's still here. Former Hermosa Beach council member and current council members over here. Am I missing anyone from Hermosa Beach? Okay, if there's any other city dignitary, we have Chloe from Al Mersucci, Assemblymember Al Mersucci's office. Again, we're going to do some presentations in a minute. All right, I'm going to move on. Okay, here we go. I'm going to stand up. That's what I'm doing. Okay, all right. So at this moment, we would like to focus all of our attention on Councilmember Richard Montgomery. And
out of order.
We got a new order, man. Stick with it. Okay. No, in all seriousness, thank you for indulging that. And this is what we're going to do. Councilmember Franklin, could you come up? And you have something to say and present, I believe.
Yes, I do. Well, Richard, if people don't like the fact that I'm standing here, they can blame you. Because you were a good neighbor and friend, and I think it was your second time running for council. You asked for my help, and I volunteered, and that's where I learned a lot about the city, and I'll be forever grateful for that. Because we were a young family, Nancy and Taylor was probably about, what year was your first? What year was your first, or second one?
She was in middle school back then, Joe.
Middle school, okay. We'll put you in middle school, along with her brother who was a year older. So we were just coming out of the fog of raising back-to-back children, and I wanted to get more involved in the city, and you were very gracious to let me help you and to learn from you, and I'll be forever grateful for that. And it's where I learned the message is muscle memory. Get those signs out there, get those banners out there. It's muscle memory. When people see it, they'll remember you. So on behalf of a very grateful city, I want to present you with this American flag, which flew here over our city hall as a token of our appreciation and esteem.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem, no, yeah, you stay there. That's good. Mayor Pro Tem Lesser, here you go.
We'll have you stay in the dock, please. So it's my honor to present you with a certificate, but rather than read this detailed certificate where I'd really need my glasses and we extend the evening, we suggested I just offer some personal remarks, which is what I'm going to do. Like Councilmember Franklin, I would probably not be here but for you. I was among those that you encouraged to get involved with the city, not just because it was fun, it was social, it was enjoyable, but it was an opportunity to control our own destiny as a community. So we got to know each other through Leadership Manhattan Beach, and then also through your campaigns and then other issues that we did together. Of course, our video, that's right. For Leadership Manhattan Beach, it was a project. Of course, when I arrived, we often disagreed quite a lot. We did not come to a common agreement on multiple issues, but I think our community was better for it, and we came to really appreciate that our differences actually strengthened the community, as did our styles. Richard would proudly refer to his Texan roots as explaining why he would be our rock thrower and I would be more of the diplomat. This comes from my years of being a lawyer. I think that helped the community when it came to going up against Southern California Edison to insist they invest in their infrastructure in our community to address power-related failures that were occurring on a chronic basis. Together, we teamed up and we actually got them to commit to further investment in our community. And then, of course, Vista Del Mar. Vista Del Mar, the main roadway going north and south, was reduced to one lane in each direction for a time. What are we as Manhattan Beach to do in confronting the city of Los Angeles and one former council member who willed it to be so? So I coordinated with a bunch of cities. I worked as a team with the former council members. Ultimately, was our supervisor. But who was out there really rallying the crowd and throwing rocks?
Bricks.
Bricks. That would be Councilmember Montgomery. I am so appreciative to have this opportunity to serve with you now twice. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Okay, Councilmember Napolitano, I think you have an appropriate gift for you. Here you go.
What's going on, Ro, Tracy? It's Waldorf and Stadler over here. Nobody got that, did they? Right. Nobody watched the Muppets growing up. All right. Richard, I could not have been happier being reelected to council in 2017 with Richard Montgomery. And that is because he's the yin to my yang. We are, we share some different approaches to things. I throw my own bricks at some things. He throws bricks at other things. The point really was that we shared a common vision to get things done because things weren't getting done. And we were encouraged to come back, and so we did come back together. And, since then, it's great to be with Richard, but crisis always follows Richard. First, it was the Great Recession, 2008. Then, when we started out, it was the pandemic. So COVID, which really changed everything for a lot of folks, especially in local government, having meetings every day of the week, getting through those things. Richard's service as mayor at that time was an exemplar to everybody else. And his connections, where he's the networker, I might be more the policy one, He knew who to call. I knew what rocks to look under, and together we made a great team. This entire council made a great team dealing with a lot of things and keeping businesses afloat and making things happen. And then just on top of that, we just have a great time together. He's got a great sense of humor. He's really just someone that you want in your corner at all times. And he's been in my corner, and I will forever be in yours, my friend. And so while we exit here together, we came on together. Again, really, I couldn't have been happier to serve these last 8 years with you. You've been a rock for me, and I appreciate it every day. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Richard. I feel like you picked up the rocks. Steve looked under them. You know, there was something going on there. You know,
A lot of rocks.
A lot of rocks. You talk about Richard being, you know, a connector. It's because you actually build relationships like no one I've ever seen. I mean, and you remember everybody's name, where they've worked, where they're from, especially if they're from Texas. And it's a gift. And I've said this before. Your heart is so big. You really, community service, this is, yes, he's been political here, but it's because it's community service. Remember when there was a hurricane in Texas, and it had happened, and maybe a day later, you and the principal of the high school at the time, Ben Dale, organized this incredible drive in our community for all these goods to go down to Texas. And not only that, the trucks to take them and the gas, and you reached out to all those connections you talk about for the good of other people. And I think you drove down? You drove one of the trucks? Yeah. So this guy doesn't just talk the talk and walk the walk, he drives the truck. And you are always there. I remember once I got a threatening phone call, kind of exciting, and Richard was right there and said, "Oh, no, you're taking this seriously. And I'm walking you out to your car. No, I'm walking you to the police station, and we're going to take care of this." And, I mean, that guy, you talk about having your back. You know, you would be there if anybody called. Speaking of anyone calls, there's no one who mayors like Richard. Joe comes really close. You were really great out there. You know, I think you're great. But, oh, my God, you were Mr. Mayor. I mean, you were out there. You returned the calls. You returned the texts. You read the emails. Not all of us do that as well. And you were out there. And then it was so really when COVID hit, and you had literally been mayor a week? A week. It'd been Nancy Hertzman, I think.
Thank you, Nancy.
Yeah, that team. And here's the guy who loves being out there in the community more than anyone, and we all love it, and it's COVID. And yet you pivoted to such a leadership role during the pandemic. And, man, I was so proud that you were our mayor and you were leading us through that. I felt safe, just like I did that night you walked me over to the police department. And I know every community member in a very turbulent, scary time felt that. Those are all the deeply wonderful things about you, and then just your wonderful sense of humor, your kindness, and I just adore you, my brother, so thank you. Okay, but I have a gift. Okay, here you go. It's a Vista Del Mar road sign. I think you should show it. Yeah, no, just open it. Don't be afraid. See, this is cool, right?
Thank Public Works.
Yeah, that's great. And we're going to recognize Councilmember Napolitano, and then you'll both do your speeches. Great.
Thank you.
So sit down now. Yeah. No. Okay, so now for Councilmember Napolitano, may we have Councilmember Franklin? There. Yeah. Oh, what could it be?
Thank you very much. Well, on behalf of a grateful city, we want to present with you a American flag that flew over City Hall to go with how many do you have? But it's quite an honor, and I'm just going to ask you to hold it. Because I can't do it all.
We worked out earlier.
Yeah, well, we can actually put it back there. But I just want to thank you. Often I say, I come from a large family, and so I could, I've been known to say, oh, I wish that was my older brother. I wish someone like he was my older brother, because my older brothers, would pick on me and beat me up and things like that. But I would like to say to you, I wish you were my younger brother. Not that I could, beat you up or anything, but that we would pal around. Oh, the actual younger brother? Okay. Oh, older brother? Okay, who ruled the nest? Yeah, okay. Well, so you and I have a lot more in common like that. But seriously, having lived here 40 years, but probably not really being much aware because of the aforementioned family and, back-to-back kids and everything like that. I didn't pay too much attention until about the kids were in middle school. But there you were. I mean, you were there at all those city council meetings. You led them. I spoke here countless times to not only advocate for something, but also to learn. I noticed there was a seat there for Joyce Fahey. I'm sorry she isn't here, but she also, too, taught me, the role of the residents in your own government. And Richard as well, when we'd have a budget meeting, he says, "Where are you, folks?" I mean, can you imagine, Richard, if we had this many people at a budget meeting?
Unheard of.
I mean, we'd be calling the paramedics for you. So I learned a lot from you, and I really appreciate it. One particular thing I learned was substitute motion, and so I thought that was really neat. But you and the thing is that you also share. You'll take me aside, or you take other people aside, and you can explain things to them, and you have a really good way of doing that. We're playing one-dimensional chess, you're playing three-dimensional chess. And so it really is good to teach you to think ahead on repercussions of decisions that one might be making and how to smooth the way to a consensus vote. Because it is a consensus, you're only one of 5, and you have to get at least 3, that magic number 3. So it's just been a pleasure not only to have you as my mayor, but also to serve with you on this dais. So wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Time flies. My friend, my colleague, and my mentor. By the time we got to know each other almost 20 years ago, you had already turned off councilman and were working for our supervisor at the time, Don Kanabi. What you had participated in, nothing gets done by one person, but often it's one person that has an oversized role that helps get things done. You had been involved with the renovation of the pier, the renovation of the Strand, the building of our police fire facility, the Metlocks facility, and this was even before you helped get our library built. You were legendary for good reason and a friend. We would get together, occasionally have a drink, but more often than not, we would go on walks. And we'd talk about the values of our community, what got accomplished, what was done well. We would look at the concrete pour of the new Strand when it was renovated. We'd look at certain public artworks that have recently been declared to be decommissioned, that you regretted. But through all of it, you cared about our community, and you cared how things had progressed. You were balancing how do we as a community grow and develop while still retaining our values. I learned a tremendous amount from you, and then I had the privilege to serve with you and Richard. When the two of you were elected in 2017, our community had gotten off course. We had made a number of bad decisions. Your leadership, the two of you coming back, really did help us get back on track and get things done. And what has been accomplished while you've been here, it was mentioned in passing by you, COVID, managing a pandemic. How do you prepare for a pandemic? Who do you call? What support can you get? The two of you on a council with an able staff were really able to manage our city well. But you did more than that. Obviously, with the 2 funding measures that were recently passed, we are addressing our financial challenges that had been kicked down the road for many, many years. But most importantly, Steve, you've been the conscience of our community. When it comes to issues like Bruce's Beach and doing something simple at no cost, apologizing for what our city did, you showed true leadership. I'm grateful to call you a friend. I'm grateful for your leadership. Thank you. Thank you for your service. But wait, there's more.
Finally, a towel.
There you go. On behalf of your colleagues, Manhattan Beach Council, similar to the one I just received. In all seriousness, I think David touched about this, the fact that Steve is the only Manhattan Beach native who's ever been on council that I'm aware of. I have to go back to Russ Lesser days and Bob days in the last 50 years. And Tim, there's 3? All right, so you're number 4, Steve. So with that said, in 2005, going back, this is pre-COVID, folks, 2005, that seat right there, I took Steve's actual physical seat. And coming back 17, to serve with one of your mentors, incredible. And Steve talked about it earlier. Steve is the velvet glove in negotiations while I'm the hammer. You turn me loose, and I'll open a big, wide path. And Steve comes right behind me, a little velvet glove. He kind of takes it back, smooths everybody's feathers back, and gets it done that way. We make a great team. Sorry, he's my other little brother, or big brother, whatever you want to look at it. I'm older. He's my little brother. But that's how it worked. And you get along with people that, not the same way we approach a problem, but we get it done. And that's what matters. Doesn't matter how you get there, right? As long as you get there. So that's what I appreciate most about that. And those of you wondering what Steve does outside of his time with the city, well, he's the one that got us involved. One of the founding members in 1960, he wasn't born yet, but it was the Independent City Association. It's a regional organization of elected officials. And Steve was the fourth person named Steve that was the president of ICA? Third person in Manhattan Beach named Steve to be president. And he got me involved, and I became president once and twice, and then by default 3 times. But Steve is the one that got me involved in those relationships Amy was talking about, the mayor's talking about. We have a problem with someone, not Hermosa. We reach out to other cities, and they may have a solution for us that we didn't know, but someone we know, we talk to them. So Steve got us involved and kept us going with that in contract cities, and go all the way up. So the reason why we're successful, folks, when we get things done, Steve is the one that set the course for us. We just followed right along and did our own path to get there, but we got things done, and here we are. So thanks to your brother making all the short for all of us, making our job easy. But I know where to find you, and we'll be at Shellback soon.
All right. Okay, stand up. Hello. So Steve hates it when people say nice things about him. And so you can imagine he's been so gracious to let us. But I thought maybe I wouldn't say nice things about you, and that might be okay. But then I saw your mom in the audience, and I thought, darn it, I have to say nice things. And I do want to touch on something that Councilmember, still for a minute, Montgomery mentioned, just the amount of things you guys have gotten done together and the amount of things the 5 of us have gotten together, and the last time the 2 of you served, and David and I, with Nancy Hersman. And I do want to credit both of you, and the rest of us came along, for really showing everybody that, yeah, we don't have to agree on everything, and we can have very different ways to approach a problem. And I think you value the discussion with your colleagues, and you've taught us all to understand that maybe we have something to learn from each other. Maybe one of us was your mentor. Go ahead, you can say that in your speech. But, you know, you really taught us that it's diversity in the ways we think right? It's how we come to conclusions. It's who the different people we're talking to. It can't be overstated how special it has been to serve with you and Richard. It cannot be overstated. And yet it's also been a joy. And that's something you taught me, that this is a calling and it's a privilege to get to do this. And when you and I worked on the logo together, remember that? Sorry. You would drive around town, you'd say, see, this like sparks joy. This is joyful. We should be joyful serving the town. We want to bring art. It's joyful. Do you remember? It's like, find joy in this. Find joy in the everyday. So while his contributions can't be overstated, David, I think you said it so well, all the things he's been involved in, and even going back with Russ and Bob, and I think things with the mall, I think were you involved with that? Okay, see? Okay. You were involved, something that means a lot to me, even though I've never played beach volleyball in my life. You were involved in the Walk of Fame and actually adding the women, no? He did the original one. I know nothing. I give him credit for everything. See how we get along so well? But still, that means a lot. What a great thing for this community, a legacy thing, because you know it's important to the people. And we should all do well to go sit at Shellback or somewhere like it and listen and talk to people. So we tease each other a lot. People have said to me later, after a meeting, I don't think Steve respects you because he was really teasing you. And I kind of get really, upset. But not at Steve, but at them. Because it's like, don't you understand? The humor is a sign of respect. We could be light with each other because we knew what we were doing and we respected each other and we knew that you would get the joke and not be offended. And I actually think, Steve, that may be one of your greatest gifts that you gave to all of us, to laugh a little, to not take it all so seriously. That was a gift to the whole community. So I hope you respect me. I respect the heck out of you, and it's not a coincidence that several people up here have said brother. I feel like Steve's my brother. I don't think he's my friend. I feel like he's my younger brother. But it's remarkable because I think everybody who knows him thinks he's their brother. And that's a testament to this man. Thank you for your service. I have a gift. Guess what it is? Here. You can give it to him. Okay. Apologies to the Shirleyan children. Oh, wow. Wow. That's even better than Drive, the Napolitano way. Oh, yeah, the font and color. That's good. Okay. That's beautiful. Okay, we can take our seats, but I'm going to recognize some other folks. And yes, to the kids in the audience, I really appreciate this. This is a huge deal for us, so we want to give them. Are there any dignitaries in the audience who would like to present a certificate? If you will come on down, I'll give you the microphone, and you can do that. And I will help you find it if it's up here. All right, Chloe.
All right, thank you. All right. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. For those of you who don't know me, I am a new face. My name is Chloe Tachibana. I'm with Assemblymember Almuratsuchi's district office here in Torrance. Outgoing council member Steve Napolitano and Richard Montgomery. I want to say, flashback to earlier this morning, I was speaking with our district office. Melissa, Cody, Aaron, and Eric have nothing but the highest regard for both of you and are so unfortunately could not be here today. But I want to make this quick and simple. Manhattan Beach is a really special place. I noticed this in the first 3 months that I've been working here, that you guys are really willing to work with the state on being creative and working together, and have been nothing but welcoming to the state, to all the stakeholders, because it does take a village to get anything done, as we've all learned. So just want to say thank you, Steve Napolitano. I don't know if no one's mentioned this yet, but he is the youngest ever elected in Manhattan Beach history, and coming from a young public servant, that is incredible, and I just want to say thank you. So I have a certificate here for both of you, so thank you from the state, and thank you from Assemblymember Muratsici.
Thank you very much.
Pictures?
Yeah.
Here, why don't you go in the middle? You get in the middle. My first time doing this.
First time, there we go.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. Are there other dignitaries, public officials in the audience who would like, oh, hello, Dean. Sorry, I couldn't see over there. Here you go.
Okay, that's all right. Thank you. Thank you. It's a great pleasure to do this, and my fellow council members Seaman and Jackson are here as well. But as mayor of Hermosa Beach, you know, we share a lot. Our two cities do, and you know, we have the two most beautiful beaches in the world, really, with all the, you know, wonderful athletic and events and uses we have on the beach, and it's just great to be able to honor the service of you two guys. Steve, I've seen you forever playing on our beach, volleyball, but that's okay. You know, we share beaches. That's great. In fact, I thought you lived in Hermosa. But you know, you've shown that you can be a beach user, a beach bum, a beach volleyball player, just like myself, and also get elected. That's great. There you go. That's wonderful. So that's great, and I've worked with many things for many years, and also Councilmember Montgomery. I know that way back when you were on before, we worked on the local coastal plan for Manhattan Beach. We ensured that our professional volleyball tournaments remained at least 50% free for all the public to avail and use and watch, and it's been great. It's a great tradition that we have brought about in LA County for our volleyball tournaments. You've also done a lot of work with volleyball tournaments and the six-man and saving the six-man, ensuring that we continue it, and it's just been great. It's a great partnership to have you two. We have certificates for you, and I don't know if my fellow colleagues want to mention anything, but we have Councilmember Seaman, Councilmember Jackson here, if you care to say a few words. Oh, this is Mayor Pro Tem Seaman.
Thank you.
Got to use these terms correctly. There you go. We rotate around here.
Thank you very much. I will be very brief. To all the young people out there in Manhattan Beach who are considering being involved in city government, this is what a role model looks like. This should be your role model, both of these two gentlemen. Thank you so much for your service. I appreciate it. Thank you for being an inspiration to everyone around you as a council. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
We have an MB hat for you somewhere.
We do have an MB hat for you.
You have one in red?
Good evening, Ray Jackson, Hermosa Beach. When I ran for office in 21, I talked to Stacey Armato, who was on council, and I was trying to figure out the lay of the land and what do you do? And she goes, have you talked to Richard Montgomery? I'm like, who the hell is Richard Montgomery? Little did I know Richard Montgomery. But it took one conversation for me to understand the importance of connecting and collaborating. We tend to live in our little bubbles and we think, hey, we're in our little haven in Hermosa and you're in Manhattan Beach and what happens in our city stays in our city and all that. But you quickly realize once you're elected that there's a ripple effect to everything that we do, and the relationships matter. And so when I got to know Richard and Steve through independent cities and contract cities, and watching these guys as a new guy on the block, the new kid on the block, watching these guys operate was truly impressive. I tend to consider myself a people person as well, but Richard takes it to the next level. And any question I had about anything at any time, he had the answer or he had the person for me to meet. And the thing that's really important is not only the beach cities, but the LA County connections that we have, the Southern California connections we have, the state connections, and even the national level connections that we have. And I learned all of that through Steve and through the good Richard. Steve gave a speech for the dedication of Bruce's Beach that was as powerful a speech as I've heard. Moving, thought-provoking, and truly inspirational. And I'll never forget that. I spoke about that recently to a group of kids, and I said, go to YouTube and watch that video. Richard took me under his wing. Anytime we went anywhere, he was always quick to introduce me to the right people, to make sure I understand. We traveled to China together on a 10-day trip, and true diplomacy in action watching this guy operate. It has indeed been a pleasure. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your coaching. Thank you for your teaching. Thank you for your mentoring. True public servants serving for all the right reasons. Thank you. Godspeed.
Okay, there we are. Congratulations to you.
Okay. Thank you, Hermosa.
Okay, yeah. You guys get in the center.
Oh, another photo, sorry.
Right now? Sure. Do it right now. The way you guys go
Do
back.
I see?
Absolutely.
Okay, are there other dignitaries here in the room? I don't think there are. Okay, I'm going to go, are there any dignitaries on Zoom? Okay, I know, it's a funny thing to say. I'm going to turn this off. Put it down. Come take our seats. Before I turn it over to the outgoing council members for their speeches, I think you can all tell that our comments were authentic because so many of the themes were repeated. We are truly fortunate to have had these gentlemen as our community leaders. And with that, I wonder if Councilmember Montgomery might share some words with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, most of you know I'm a 2-minute speech person. If you can't get your argument across in 2 minutes, you shouldn't be talking. But the mayor has given me an extra 8 minutes for some unknown reason. Before I begin, you're wondering why my Texas helmet is there. It doesn't fit me anymore for some reason, but we're nonpartisan up here, right? Our decisions, it's not about a party. It's about our city. It's the only flag it should be waving is our city flag. So, but I am partisan when it comes to my school, my college, hence the helmet. So I want to get that out there. And before we start, I think David mentioned that. Do you realize, folks, it's 40 years of council service here. 26 for this kid. That's what, 24. 24 and 16 for me. So when someone says, wait a minute, Steve came to my house when he was a kid, knocking on my door, he's still wearing beach t-shirt, beach breeches, and flip-flops. Not much has changed when you see him outside here. We put a sign in my yard. Little did I know how fate would change that one meeting down the road, right? Who knew? Look at him now. But all that happened because that wasn't how I got involved. But it's what down the road that happened. Before I want to start, I think we mentioned earlier, you don't get to this seat, and Nina and Steve know this now. You don't get to this seat by yourself. It's your wife, my wife Diane, it's your family, it's friends, your neighbors, Jeannie, your businesses, people that know you, and other people around you, and Kim Edwards, and Dennis Dillon, and Ed and Amy McKeegan, and I see Larry and B up there somewhere. All of you guys. And they're the ones that when some days you walk and you think you're not going to get any votes at all, and the next day they get to win every single vote in the city, except for Steve, right? Because he has everybody else's already. But thank you all for allowing me to be here for a third and fourth term. It was amazing. And we didn't know at the time. I think, Nancy, if you're watching, Nancy Hersband, man, we came back in, as David mentioned, we came back in to pull the state out of a ditch. We believed the city was in the wrong direction. The morale was at an all-time low. It needed new blood and direction for people that actually knew what they were doing, come in and do it. And all three of us have been elected before, and we knew what to do. And with Amy and David now, with that kind of resurgence, we did that. You opened up City Hall. You hired the right people. Bruce Moe was one of our best hires as city manager. folks, I think Steve mentioned that bad luck follows me or good luck follows me. The Great Recession in 08 and 09, I was lucky to have Bruce Moe as a finance director and Steve Shrillian right behind him and Tim Lilligren right there and a guy named Nick Tell. Most of you may know Nick, former mayor, but he's the one, we made decisions back then that really saved our city, moving money around, and we had no net financial losses on our investment portfolio because of moves these people all made. It wasn't me. I was sitting on the bench watching these guys. But as fate would have it, you bring Bruce Moe in, put him as city manager, then COVID hits. Now, we could have panicked and froze up. We didn't do that. We had Bruce had been to the wars. Steve, we'd been there. We said, okay, what are we going to do? Tim, Lilligren had been there. And what did we do? We just started getting things done. And we didn't, you know, some of us thought it'd be over in 6 months. We didn't know. But we all planned, hey, let's get meetings to get over with. But we got through it. PD, fire, everyone chipped in. The community chipped in. And just a quote, I look back at it. We didn't lose one restaurant, folks, during COVID. Not one. Now, yes, all of you bought gift cards. I think I have stacked gift cards still to all the restaurants. But the point is we stepped up and supported them, right? Jill knows from downtown business. That was one piece of it. Take out, support them, and employees. Jeff Sirota and this I Love MB fund, almost $900,000 that they donated. It wasn't a loan, folks. It was a grant that they donated privately to keep businesses and people going. That's away from the city. And see, Shirley got us, the council got us $10,000 loans that council did to keep other people going. Well, this is all happening. We didn't know by then how long it would keep going. We had no idea. But all that happened because it was a team. And yes, outdoor dining now is a new catchphrase. There was no playbook, David. We didn't have an idea, but we thought, hey, how do you help your business survive COVID? What do you do? And we did it. I mean, Eric Henley, our traffic engineer, is up at midnight emailing me, getting things to ABC, police, fire. It was a total team. And that's how we survived this. Second city in LA County that had outdoor dining was Manhattan Beach. And look what started because of that. So when someone says you were the mayor during COVID, yes, but it's not a bad thing. We got through it all because it was a team. All of you, all of us, everybody out there made a difference. So that's what I want to clear up right away and make sure everybody knows it wasn't me, it wasn't council, it was all of us. Together we got through it. I did follow Steve. It's his 6 terms on council, folks, 24 years, 6 times as mayor. I don't think everyone ever catch up, ever, and Manhattan Beach ever catch up to that. That's a goal that I believe will stay.
I know someone who might try.
Not me. I'm happy to stay, right? 4 is great. I think it's good. I just found out from our gold standard city clerk, Lisa Tamara from Martha, they researched that only 5 residents have ever been mayor. I wanted to find it 4 times. So Steve is 6, and we're all down below. But it's an honor to be here and represent all of you. And as Ray mentioned, Councilmember Jackson, where'd he go? When you go across the county or the state or D.C., in Sacramento, D.C., they know who we are. It's not because we're shy and quiet. It's because we make sure our voices are heard. When someone says, why do you care? Manhattan Beach, no one cares about a small city like yours. I remind them of something. Remember the plastic bag fight we had, Larry, in 2008? All the way to state Supreme Court when they told us we're going to lose against the plastic bag companies? We won 7-0. And Michael Greenberg, on his own, as Skechers president, changed his packaging worldwide from plastic to recombustible materials because of that one decision. He was ahead of it. So that ripple went all the way across the world because of Skechers and saw what happened here. Based here, yes, started here, based here, but that ripple started here. So when someone tells you can't make a difference anywhere, just remind them what city you're from. That's to keep it quiet for a while. What I was going to say here. We mentioned the point why Steve and I and Nancy came back. We got that part done. I'm not going to beat anybody up on that one. But there's reporters, some of you may know who this guy is. I know, Jeannie, you're one of them. And Mark McDermott, easy reader, great reporters. Because they will dig down, they won't take no for an answer. And they will, if we screw up, they'll beat us up for it, which is fine. We get it. It's part of it. But they dig down. And Mark, and maybe Jeannie, you asked me the high points and low points in the last 8 years. Well, you're going to all think low points would be COVID, but it wasn't. That was not the low point. That was the part where you step up as mayor and you get your team together and you call other people. medical professional will call you and say, I'm a doctor in Manhattan Beach, you're doing this wrong, or do this right, or what you're doing right. Everything else you're doing, they're all in my ear. And Governor Newsom, I know when he was Mayor Newsom. We don't agree on politics on anything, rarely, but I knew him before. Been to our city many times, he still comes here. But he put me on a weekly call with him. He wanted to know what the South Bay was doing. What are we doing? What's our biggest impact? And my first thing in my mouth, before I said on NPR, was that you made a mistake in closing the beaches. Your biggest mistake was closing our beaches. They don't understand that. They go, it's not just a physical exercise. It's a mental exercise to walk down the beach in the morning and walk down that sand and walk back. Joe does it every morning. He and Evelyn Schmidt taking pictures. But I mean, that part of it they wouldn't let go. In their mind, if they opened it, we'd all congregate and someone would get sick. So he refused to budge. To this day, he says that was a decision that was right based on what they knew at the time. But it's always a point to speak up. If you don't speak up, they'll never know what your mind is. Well, I let them have it every time. Professionally, cordially, but I said he was wrong. And to this day, he'll tell you, Richard told me every week I was wrong, that we opened the beaches up and the Strand. All those things we thought were limiting us, but we got through it. Here we are. And I think that part of that is because we all were trying to fight what we thought was doing the right thing, and here we are. So it was not all open. That was a high point. And I think, Jill, you were here then, but there's a time when that council, I think one of the high points too, when remember the governor shut down businesses too, unless you were Costco or a drugstore and somebody you were exempt from all the rules, Target. Well, our small businesses couldn't operate. They couldn't open. So we finally said enough. So Steve and Nancy was our editor-in-chief, you know, and Steve would write a passion letter and Nancy would work on it and massage it. And instead of sending it right to the governor, I call and give him a heads up, this is coming. We're going to stop enforcing the closure of small business in our city. I didn't want to sandbag him. I didn't want to cut his knees off. I gave him a warning. And Janice Hahn, our supervisor at the time, joined us in that letter and said, it's time. Open up our businesses. Let them survive. Because they weren't going to make it, folks. They weren't going to do it anymore. No matter how many loans we gave them, then they couldn't make it. So Steve and Nancy's letter to the governor, that we sent to the governor, with Janice Hahn's help and support, and all of a sudden our store opened up. Was Memorial Day weekend, Steve?
We opened them.
We opened
Despite
them.
what they all said.
Despite what they all said, we all opened them. And you know what? Surprisingly enough, 3 days later, the governor rescinds that order to businesses to open up the whole state. Coincidence? I don't think so. But call it whatever you want to. You take care of your own backyard. That was the point, and it worked. I would say, let's see. Oh, I need to talk about that. You're wondering, remember we saw, all of us watch, and Chief, you remember this, we all watched LA burn down during COVID. Remember all that? The thefts, the cars on fire, the tires on fire. And Santa Monica, I go, and even part of West Hollywood and Beverly Hills, what are you guys doing? Well, we got notice that they were going to have a march at Manhattan Beach from Manhattan Beach Pier to Hermosa and back. 1,500 people. And Derek Abel, God love Chief Abel, went down there and talked to them. I said, hey, we had mutual aid from every single department around us. Janice Hahn sent the sheriffs to stand by with buses that we needed help. And an air unit too watching. We thought, we don't want, look, we're not going to become like LA. We're not going to let people run around and rampage our city, especially downtown. No, it's not going to happen. Every department sent people on the sand, on the water, behind us. And you know what happened, folks? Derek Abel walks down and says, one guy gets out of line, not LA. We're going to arrest everybody here. We're going to shut it down. You know what happened? That peaceful march went from here to here and back. Nothing. Nothing happened because we had help, and Derek Abel went down and told them all, we're not going to allow what you did in LA and Santa Monica to happen here. But Michael Greenberg, I know he hates to have publicity. Michael Greenberg stepped out of his own and covered every single downtown glass wall on his own dime to protect downtown. I didn't like seeing it. I understand how Michael did it. So to Michael and that crew that made it happen, thank you for that. A lot of people have forgotten that. I have not forgotten that. What else was there? We talked outdoor dining, retail businesses. Oh, how many of you know a little fun fact? Hurricanes. That means a hurricane's going on in your city at the same time an earthquake. Oh, yeah. Joe, when that happened, you're with me. On the sand, MB Open 2023, we had a hurricane. Right. Oh, yeah. Joe and I were in the sand to get these awards, and we felt the ground shake. Well, it's raining. I said, what the hell was that?
Whoa.
Yes, I said it again. And that's what it was. We're the first officials to be in a hurricane, Joe, in Manhattan Beach. Just in case you knew that. I think Steve said earlier, what do we get done here? Steve's famous line is, hey, we get blank done, fill in the blank, but we do get stuff done. And that was the main thing. You look at that new fire station, Chief Lang, your new fire station on the east side. The east side does exist. Other side of Sepulveda does exist. New fire station, 8 million gallon water tank. Director Lee's behind me, Public Works. The playground, Director Lehman at Pollywog Park. You saw a lot of roads get paved. What did you see around our schools? Those flashing crosswalks, right? You saw all of that, and restriping everywhere. So it got done because that was our focus, our attention. But it was a team effort, but that was something we want to make sure got done when we were here. I know Director Shirley remember this when Steve was there. Having AAA credit ratings like having the perfect FICO score, right? You want to have that. You can borrow money if you need it. The city's safe. Safe hands. You leave it in better hands when you had it, but really good things to do. And Steve's idea of the pension obligation bond. I know somebody writes about this every time. There's a former council member who didn't win the last 4 elections he tried that gets out there and puts this misinformation on that cesspool called Nextdoor. And he says, we don't do things right. That the city pension obligation bond is wrong. He's totally wrong. Everything he says is wrong. The library issue, the civic engagement, he talks about the budget, and I remind him, he never stood up to one budget meeting, but he critiques from the side. So Steve and Nina are tough enough to handle the sniping from the sides, but after this dies, when it's over, Steve, I can bounce right back at him. I would say one last thing. I think that why people ask, why do you go to conferences? What difference does it make to you guys? Well, I didn't join this seat from him knowing how council works. But they sent me to a National League of Cities conference, and I was listening to the person at the Department of Transportation tell me, if you fill this 2-page form out instead of the 400-page form the feds like to give you, it was a 2-page form. We will send you money, $400,000 up to dollar ride buses. So I filled it out. Where's Mark Lehman? Director Lehman. So those 2 fancy dollar buses you see driving in the city, courtesy of your federal government, $400,000, your tax money at work. It took them 5 years to get here, but they got here. Yes, that's what it is, folks. To Janice, I know Janice is watching. Janice Hahn, thank you. Janice, you were there for this, for the worst of our times in the city on the COVID. I think your support for us, never ending. Janice has been there for us from day one. I'm still one of her commissioners in the county, and I can't thank her enough for always being there. I didn't have a call to make. Janice always stood by us, and I won't forget that either. Low points, I think the lowest point, I think, Gene, if you asked me this earlier, I'm not sure. The lowest point for me was the loss of Officer Chad Swanson as mayor, police officer. You never want to see a police officer in a line of duty ever go down, especially when you're mayor or on council. But that hit me harder. I knew Chad when he came here. I see him, a sense of humor, Chief, you talked about it, at his service. My God, my sides still laugh. You make me laugh. But I think that was the biggest call in the morning from Bruce Moe, let me know that Chad had been in an accident. And then you saw the outpouring of support that we'd seen. Thousands of officers went to Orange County for his funeral service. And whether it's because I had a law enforcement background or the fact I knew Chad or both, that was absolutely the lowest point of my 8 years, was that. I hope none of you ever see that during your time on council, ever, for anyone, any of our employees, but especially that one. I think that Fred Taylor mentioned this earlier. I appreciate Nina and Steve, all everybody at Randy against you. Joe, it's the first time since 2019, that we've not had an attack ad on the council to each other, candidates. Now, it could be that people that run for council didn't get in this race, coincidentally, but there was no attack ads. They focused on why they can make the city better. And you saw the result. You got Joe, who everybody likes Joe. He's like, well,
Tell her.
Nancy Taylor, yes. Well, he is the ambassador for the city. Now, Joe goes there, at 6 in the morning, Joe's there walking around.
He's the AM.
I think that's part of it. I think that's why I'm not a fan of attack ads. As someone that has felt attack ads personally, 2017 and 20, even bots in the Philippines that our people tracked down where it came from a disgruntled former council member. It's no fun being the guy that uses you to pinata. I had that enough during COVID as mayor. But to have it again from someone running against you, they can't focus on issues. They try to beat you up somewhere. But the best thing, folks, about winning an election like that is to shut them up. Don't pay attention to that stuff. Focus on winning, do your job, and look what happens to you. And nobody up here did that. Not one of these 5 up here did it. And these 2 didn't need to do it either. They won their own merits, and that's a great thing. I'll say that Joe is the one that represents us nowadays in those quiet days in the mornings all over the city. Joe makes every single event. There's 2 or 3 of them, I don't know, but Joe goes to everything, right, Nancy? He's everywhere. I don't know how he does this, and he still keeps going. David is, in case you know what David's real life job was, litigator. He's the one you want that tears things apart and will question everything about it. That's the best thing about it. We have someone here that works on our dime for free. There's no billable hours for him. It's perfect. Amy is our emotional leader. Pink is not just the color she wears because she likes pink. It's her emotion. If you doubt, folks, what she feels, how she feels about any subject, she will tell you. But you know where she is from day one. That's a great thing to have. She can't play poker at all because of that. Steve, you know about Mr. Manhattan Beach, born in red, blue. That's how he is. But that's all Steve, and he is the reason why Manhattan Beach is a state the way it is because of him. Look at the effect he's had on all of us. One person. And I've been trying to get women to run Nina for a long time. My own sister-in-law ran. She did not win, by the way, but she ran. But the point is, women are part of this. I've been trying to push them for years. I'm happy Nina won. She continues that tradition. Nancy Hersman, others. Hillary Mahan. Hillary, are you back there? One day Hillary can do it when she has spare time. And also, I want to close with this. You don't get to where we are. Also, your city is envied across the country, not just because of Skechers and our beach and our film studio with Mandalorian and everything else that goes on Disney, and the last Star Wars film is filmed right behind us over here because of our staff. Yes, some people attack us that we have more staff than others. Folks, we are a service organization. That's your job, right? If you want to sit there and wait for a year to get a permit, fine, we'll cut back staff. Up to you. But we have great people. They get things done. And if we had not hired good people, we'd be searching and paying search fees over and over. And we lose them to some other city that will pay them more. But we have good people, and we keep them here because of that reason. Yes, I may pay a little more for some of them, but guess what? I have that knowledge in their head, and they know our city. Someone else new won't have that. So everywhere, from our new city manager, not new anymore, Talena's one of ours. We stole her here, Talena Mirzakanian, yes. And those of you that wondered how we got from 41 homeless in 2017 to 2 at this last count. Remember, 41 to 2, not a football score. I wish it was. But George Gabriel over here. George. He's been our homeless rep. The homeless rep that wrote the model on how things work on homelessness, that's George. And trust me, his email blows up more than mine. But the reason why is we have someone dedicated to it. That's success, folks. I had Mayor Bass ask me, LA, how did you do that? What'd you do? Here's George's blueprint, ma'am. Follow this. But it's a way to follow. You hire good people, this is what you get, right? You got Public Works behind me, Dr. Lee, you got Mark Lehman over there, you got Miguel IT over there somewhere, and you got Lisa and Martha and Patty and Brianna. There's so much of our lives, folks, that these ladies run because I can't control what's on this phone by scheduling if I didn't have them. And where's Mary? Mary Kirchner's not here. She's the right hand of the city manager. We couldn't get things done without her. And that's what happens here. Coumbera, our city attorney, if David doesn't catch it on the first crack, Quinn gets it. But you're surrounded by good people. You have former mayors who you can call on with questions. But I just want to say that I think I want to wish Joe and Nina and Steve good luck. We're not going to be far away, but I think the parting part for me, Steve, is that we leave the city in much better hands than when we joined in 17. Mm-hmm. And what we all got through, this gray, folks, these are battle scars. You know, your COVID mayor, all this stuff. I didn't have much gray before I joined here. This is all proof that I was here as mayor during COVID and afterwards. But we made it. We made it through. And they're going to see the result as this new, stronger team takes over. They're going to take it to the next level. But it started because we got things done from pre-COVID, whatever that was, to COVID and then post-COVID. I'm not going anywhere. I'll remain involved. If you're ready to jump back in if needed, I'll still be Toy Drive.
Yeah.
I'll still be the CFO for fireworks at Manhattan Beach. I'm not going anywhere for that one. But I cannot think of any city anywhere in the country, or even anywhere in the world, I'd rather be than stay and live and play and eat in Manhattan Beach. So, Jim, thank you. Everybody else that's been here, love and gratitude. Bless you all, and God bless Manhattan Beach. Thank you. And Mayor Howard will be remiss if I didn't say one of our conduct sheet was bring Dunkin' Donuts at the city of Manhattan.
Yeah, I did forget to mention that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Richard. All right. I think we're moving on to the incoming No. No? Yeah, really? You think? All right. All right. No, it's okay. We didn't work it out ahead of time. Councilmember Napolitano.
Thank you, Your Honor. We are now 20% through our program.
Apologies.
Sorry to my kids who are waiting to watch shows. Just to be clear, though, Richard and I are not dying. We're just leaving council. And where's Russ? Russ, I'm going to do my best to keep this short. No promises. Been here a while, so I can't do as well as Richard on the names and everything, so I have to write it down because otherwise I'll forget them. Like I forget saying earlier how involved Richard has been in National League of Cities, contract cities, the League of California Cities, all these things that, as Ray said earlier, reaches beyond our borders but brings things back to us. And that is one of the other reasons why Richard is such a treasure for us. But elections are about the future and what comes next, and I want to congratulate Joe, Nina, and Steve for their respective wins. They're what's next, and they have my full confidence that they'll keep our city on the right track. And if not, well, you know what Arnold said. Just kidding. Sort of. And I want to congratulate Tim Nolligren for his, umpteenth term as treasurer, who we served together on council way back when I was first elected in '92. He's a great asset to the city as well. Keep us on track financially. As for me, yes, I've spent the better part of my life serving my community, whether I was on council or at the county. I started out as the youngest person elected to council in 1992 at the age of 26. I now exit the council as the longest serving member after 5 terms at the age of 58. And no, that's not a humble brag because that's how I get introduced these days. To be perfectly honest, neither of those things means a damn thing to me. I ran to serve and make a difference way back when, and that's the same reason I did it again 12 years after being termed out, to serve and to make a difference. And I like to think that I did that more often than not. I'm not one to rattle off a list of accomplishments. I think you'd all find that extremely boring, and frankly, I can't remember it all. I'm not going to name names because I can't remember them like Richard does. I love you all. But I am proud of a few things over these last 2 terms. I'm proud of our rebuilt partnership with our schools. I'm proud of how we dealt with COVID. No, it wasn't close to perfect, and we had to deal with conflicting and contradicting orders, but we came through it together, kept our businesses afloat, and rebounded faster than many of our neighbors by a long shot. I'm proud of how we reconciled and dealt with Bruce's Beach. It wasn't easy, hard truths never are, and despite a lot of BS, we did the right thing in the end. I'm also proud to have put our city on its best financial footing ever by greatly reducing the general fund subsidy of our stormwater fee and putting a successful half-cent sales tax on the ballot to rebuild our infrastructure. I ran to get things done, and a lot of things did get done. Now, I used a lot of I's just now, but of course, I didn't do anything by myself. As Richard and everyone else pointed out, I've been blessed to work with some wonderful colleagues over the years, from Tim in '92 and going forward, Steve Barnes, to today, just wonderful people, all with different attributes, all with different character traits, all with different perspectives. from my early days on council till tonight, and I was especially fortunate, as I said, to serve these past 8 years with my friend Richard here. Yes, we're retreads. We came back for more, and we're the first ones to successfully do it. But I'd argue that our experience served us well and made us even better the second time around. I think folks recognize that also in bringing Amy and David back, while also having new people elected at the same time, Joe, as it should be. It never ceases to amaze me, though, how people say they trust the voters until they don't like the outcome. Nevertheless, you know, as I said, I've been blessed to work with great city councils, and I've learned a lot from all of them along the way, and Amy. She gets that. She gets that.
I'm honored.
We've also been blessed with an amazing staff. Yes, I've questioned you, I've pushed you, I've argued with you, and I've asked for more, and you've delivered. Not for me, but for all of us. Council talks, staff acts. They're the ones that really get stuff done, and this city is blessed to have such dedicated public servants. We have as many staff as we do to best serve the public as they've asked to be served. We pay what we do to recruit and retain the best and the brightest. And no, we don't pay more than other cities. We're right in the middle despite having employees who go above and beyond every day. And of course, I couldn't have served without the support and understanding of the people I love, my friends and family, even my brother, who is here for the first time ever tonight. Welcome to the party. Without them, I could not do what I do or what I've done. And I've missed a lot of things along the way with them, especially with my kids. And it's time for me to give to them as much as I've given to everyone else. Now, how to sum this up? Well, I can't, or I really don't know how. When you come to the end of something like this, you don't know about what you did as much, you don't think about what you did as much as what you didn't do. There's lots of things I never got to do because half this job is what you plan to do, and the other half is what comes at you while you're doing it. So I'm sorry I didn't get to everything that I hoped to. I'm also sorry if I disappointed anyone. Whenever you make decisions, someone is going to be disappointed. I'm sorry if anyone felt and heard. Trust me, I heard you. I just may not have agreed with you. That happens too. When I first ran more than 30 years ago, I promised to do the right thing, and that's what I've kept in mind in every decision I've made since. I subscribe to the canoe theory of government. Paddle some on the right, paddle some on the left, and that's what makes the canoe goes forward. As I said, I've only ever run to do two things, to serve and to make a difference. At the end of the day, nobody cares about how long you've served, they care about how well you've served. The confidence of the voters isn't something to rest on, it's something to be repaid. And I worked every day to do just that, in 5 terms as a council member and 6 terms as mayor. I never missed a council meeting because I felt I owed it to the people to be present and speak up, and that's what I did, not just for those who voted for me, but for those who didn't as well, because we're all elected to represent everyone. And along the way, I've made some incredible friendships and had more laughs, more fun, more challenges, more tears, more everything than anyone deserves. Because as serious as this is, it should also be fun, and I've had lots of fun. So from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you, Manhattan Beach. It has been the honor of my life to serve my community, my hometown, the place I've ever only called home and ever will. Each campaign I walked every street and stopped at every door because you're who mattered most. Serving all of you has been an honor that never gets old, never diminishes, but only increases with time. I'll continue to serve my community going forward one way or another. In the meantime, I couldn't be happier to have my 89-year-old mom here. My dad passed away a few years ago. They're the ones who taught me to always do my best and make a difference. I've been trying to do that ever since. I hope I did okay, Mom. I hope I made Dad proud. Thank you.
Gentlemen. I hope people stay in.
I'm just gonna scoot over there. Nina, donate my M&Ms to you.
You're such a good one. Okay. All right. We're going that way. Yeah, go see Mom. Okay. All right. At this point, would Joe Franklin, Nina Turnay, Steve Shirley, and Tim Lilligren please join us up here? I'm going to line you up. So, pardon me here, this is well orchestrated, and the order is, it has to be Joe, Nina, Steve, and Tim on that side. You have to go with that side. Yeah, so I'm going to, it is really a great honor to administer the oath of office. And I just want to point out that at the moment when I say raise your hand and say aye, we're going to go down the line and say each name individually so you can hear them. All right? Okay, folks. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me, except at the appropriate moment. I,
Joe Franklin,
Nina Carnay,
Steve Shirley, Tim Lilligren,
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California. That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. That one's always a tongue twister. And that I will well, and go ahead, that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations. Get seated at the dais. I'm going to have City Treasurer Tim Lilligren say a few words. If you would like, I think you should.
Hello, I've been here before, a couple times. The first time I was elected, 2005, it was a very difficult election. I had 3 competitors. Of the group there were 2 former mayors, 1 current mayor, 3 CPAs, 1 attorney, and 1 had a PhD in electrical engineering. So it was a great group, and I managed to squeak on through that. Now, in August, when the nominations closed this time, I was pretty big-headed, thinking nobody polled against me. And so I was at my favorite 5 o'clock
watering hole at Grunyon's. And so I was telling a friend that, and he says, Tim, no, it's not that you are so good. It's nobody wanted the job. So anyway, my head went back to normal after that. First of all, I'd like to thank Richard and, they're still here. Steve, Richard, thank you very much for all your years of service. And I was here during all that time, and so everybody knows all the things that were said about him were true. I witnessed almost all of it. So thanks again, Richard and Steve. Okay. And next, I'd like to introduce my wife. Of all the times I've been here, I don't know if I've ever introduced you before, but you're always kind of. But my wife here, Birgit. Yep, she has to put up with the last 2 weeks of nominations because that's when I start getting stressed that somebody will pull papers. I've campaigned about 4 times before, and I would have gone the pedal to the metal if I had done it, and it takes a lot of time. It's very difficult and expensive, so I was very pleased. But I had a list of a couple things. Okay. With that, a couple thanks to, I've already thanked several, but thanks to the 20,000 registered voters that didn't pull their papers. So thank you very much. But the next thing, it's been mentioned before tonight, and that is what makes my job really easy is that, easier than you think, is that we have great staff supporting. Now, the council has great staff supporting, but the treasurer also. So I'd like to thank the people in the finance department for all of their support during the last number of years. I've lost track. And then the administration office is probably the only other department that I deal with, and they too. Thank you very much. You all support very well. And with that, I think I'm done. So, thank you. I meant to do it I meant to keep my normal thing a 2-minute speech, but I think we went 3.
You've been many years deserving this, so thank you, Tim. I'm going to ask our council. I'm going to ask you to take your seat, and I'm going to ask my colleagues to take their new seats, which I believe Steve's over there. Nina. Okay, Nina, you are the far chair over here. Steve, you will take this chair. David's going to be to my right, and Joe, yep, to my left.
I got to collect myself.
Yeah, just collect yourself, sort of, because we're not going to do much. All right. I'm going to put this down now. It's musical chairs. You guys can, Mina, you can sit down. Oh, sorry.
My mom was taking a picture, so I had to smile.
I got you. And I'm not getting in the way. I'm not getting in the way of that. Okay, so at this point, though, now I'm going to turn it over to a gentleman whom I thought, why are you so excited? This has happened for you before. But nay, I realized that Joe, the last time he was sworn in was during COVID. So he didn't get to see this loving community, and I'm so glad you get to do this now. So, Councilmember Franklin, would you like to make some remarks?
Sure.
Excellent.
All my whining about that has paid off.
Yeah, talk about the brick. No, kidding.
It was just nice. I didn't wear my shorts this time, so being on Zoom. So, fellow council members, fellow former council members and mayors, Steve, Richard, dignitaries, and voters of Manhattan Beach. I am honored and humbled to be speaking before you as your re-elected council member. There are so many people to thank who helped make this possible. First are the residents who overwhelmingly trusted me with their vote. There were many issues our council faced these past 4 years, some more difficult than others. I always did my best to represent the intrinsic values of Manhattan Beach residents when creating and working on solutions. I'm blessed to have been helped by my amazing wife of 35 years, Nancy Franklin. Nancy is immensely talented as a wife, mother, and a business executive, and I looked to her for advice and had the wisdom to follow it. Although at times she had to deliver it like potty training a puppy with a rolled up newspaper and a gentle smack across my hand. So I would listen to her. My beautiful daughter, Taylor, right here, is here as well. Taylor guided her father through the social media jungle with only a few condescending eye rolls. And I thank our son, Jimmy, his wife, Christy, and our 3 grandchildren, Macy, Caroline, and Liam, for forgiving me for missing some time with them due to the campaign. I want to thank my core group of campaign managers who have been with me from the very first, and include Heather Kim, who we heard from earlier, Lucia Ames, Charlene Harding, Joy Roberts, and Lauren Harger. Each are fantastic working mothers of gaggles of children, which means they are well equipped for multitasking and hard work. They handled our campaign strategy sessions and work with the aplomb and grace of mothers on a mission. I bet you're not going to miss my 5 a.m. texts. Thank you to all of you who unselfishly gave your time and worked so hard distributing signs, going door to door, delivering campaign flyers, and helping at a moment's notice. You were a force multiplier and did a fantastic job. I want to thank those who donated to my campaign and hosted meet and greets at your homes. Nothing I just recounted would have happened without your trust and confidence in me. We shared our vision of what is best for Manhattan Beach, and I will carry forward those values with my continued work on council. I thank the current and former council members and mayors who endorsed me in all my campaigns. You taught me a great deal during my 40-plus years living in Manhattan Beach. I believe what drives all of us to serve on council, including our 2 new council members, Steve Sherillian and Nina Tarnay, is the desire to manage the inevitable changes that come with time, but keep true to that which brought us, each of us here and chose to live here in Manhattan Beach. I want to thank also, the staff here in Manhattan Beach, our fantastic police and fire departments who had a really tough 4 years with the continued situation of post-pandemic recovery and also, quite frankly, a county attorney who did not really see fit to give them the tools they needed to do their job to their best performance. But I'm very proud of what they did. Finally, I express my heartfelt thanks to Steve and Richard for their long and valued service to the residents of Manhattan Beach. Their institutional knowledge of the Manhattan Beach City Council is boundless and will greatly guide us for the future. We'll keep you on our speed dial. Thank you for your service in helping me become a better council member. I wish the best of luck for you, your families, and your future endeavors. Thank you all very, very much.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What's next? What's next? Okay. Let's see. All right. I'm sorry. Newly elected City Council Member Nina Tarnay. Would you share some remarks about that?
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm already starting off on the wrong foot there. Mayor Howarth, Mayor Pro Tem David, and my fellow council members, and then also good evening to all of you, my family, friends, for being here tonight. My name is Nina Tarnay. Thank you so much for electing me as your new city council member. I want to start also by thanking Steve and Richard for your years of service to Manhattan Beach. Filling your shoes will not be an easy task, but I am thankful you're still both locals, so I can call you. I pledge to do my part to carry forth the tremendous work that you've both done. Thank you to my family, friends, and all the wonderful supporters who've been here with me every step of this journey. I'd like to extend a special thank you to my husband, Mike, my children, Christopher, Jacqueline, and Colin. I so appreciate your love and support. And I also want to give a shout out for MBUSD, because this is what you get when you have kids going through our school system. They grow up to be great speakers. Thank you. I know it's not always easy being at the center of the tornadoes that I spin, but I promise this will be the last crazy thing I pull you guys into this year. I'd also like to thank my team, NT for MB. All of you guys, you know who you are out there, headed up by Christine Daviduke, who, despite always being the cooler, more grounded one in this friendship, took this leap of faith with me and guided our team of dedicated and hardworking volunteers across the finish line. I can't begin to express the deep thanks that I have for my sister, Annie, who she's been there with me through every important milestone in my life. Even though she's my little sister, she's always been one of the biggest blessings in my life. As some of you know, my story isn't one of privilege, but one of perseverance. I was born in Vietnam, came to this country as a boat person. A refugee. My family left everything behind in search of a better future. We arrived with little more than a hope and the belief that the American dream was within reach. No matter how difficult the journey, we could succeed. Who could ever have imagined that the 6-year-old little girl who was once adrift in a vast ocean of unknowns would one day grow up to help our beautiful city navigate its future? That's the beauty of the American dream. It's real, it's possible, and it keeps us moving forward. I can tell you from the depths of my heart that the American dream is real. It's not just a slogan, it's a story of countless families who, through hard work, sacrifice, and determination, overcome adversity and make a better life for their future. My parents worked tirelessly to provide for my siblings and me, never asking for anything in return other than for us to take full advantage of the opportunities that America offers. They taught us that success is not where you start and what you start with, but on what you do with what you have. Long, Fook, Quan, and Annie, thank you for continuing the work you do to carry forth our parents' dreams. My father also passed away a few years ago, so he can't be here with us today. But I know he would be incredibly proud of this moment. To my mom, who sacrificed so much for me to be here today, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Gamma and Matt. Sorry. The sacrifices my parents made and the lessons they instilled in me are what have brought me here today. They are why I stand before you, not only as a proud member of this beautiful community, but also as someone who is deeply committed to serving you, leading with integrity, and ensuring that Manhattan Beach continues to thrive for all its residents. As I take on this role, I carry with me the values my family passed down to me: hard work, compassion, and a commitment to lifting up others. Finally, to every volunteer, donor, and supporter, this privilege is a reflection of the trust and faith you've all placed in me. I will not take this for granted. I am committed to doing the job well, and am truly humbled by the opportunity to serve as your next member of the Manhattan Beach City Council. Thank you again for all of your support. I am super excited and honored to serve this incredible community with Mayor Amy, Mayor Pro Tem David, and fellow council members Joe and Steve. I'm ready for this, Manhattan Beach. Thank you so much.
Welcome. All right. Newly elected, seated Councilmember Steve Shirley. It's not on. No, we have to. Great. All right. Welcome. Would you share some remarks with us?
Thank you, Mayor. I think the over and under is 8 o'clock before the break.
You're all worth it. You're all worth it.
Good evening, everyone. What a great view from this side of the dais. First, let me begin by expressing my deep gratitude to the residents of our beautiful beach town for entrusting me with the responsibility to serving on the City Council. It is truly an honor and privilege to be chosen to represent our vibrant and close-knit beach community. I will always be here to listen to your concerns and to be our community's voice. I look forward to working alongside my fellow council members to collaborate and make the right choices for our residents. I am humbled to have received your vote and trust to continue making our community thrive. To my family, friends, and supporters, thank you. Your encouragement, your belief in me, and your tireless efforts have been the foundation of my campaign. I could not have made it here without each and every one of you. I'm excited to roll up my sleeves and get to work, not just for you, but alongside you. I want to recognize my small, dedicated team who were with me every step of the way throughout my grassroots campaign. First, to my family, my wife, Arcee, and sons, Knox and Chase, for enduring a fast-paced campaign and keeping me grounded, and most importantly, fed. You guys were in lockstep with me throughout the highs and lows that a campaign can bring. Towards the end of my campaign, my almost 6-year-old son, Knox, who was also my campaign manager, said, "Dad, don't worry if you don't make it. You're trying your best. Because I'm going to run for president in 2066. Just that statement, I knew I had already won in a different way, since my son recognized that anything is attainable if you try your best and work hard. I love you guys to infinity and beyond." It's our family saying. My longtime friend and campaign general, Howard Fishman, I know he's somewhere here, who retired from the city of Manhattan Beach after a 30-year career and was a former elected official in Hermosa. He gave me everything he had in the tank. Along with the blueprints for a successful campaign, I can still hear him saying, "Stay the course, follow the blueprints." Thank you, my friend. Also, my dear friend Henry Mitzner, former Manhattan Beach controller of 45 years, who was there to give me sound advice along the way when I was down. Stay the course, follow your path. This is something you've wanted, so go out there and get it. Thank you, Coach Mitzner. To all the current and former elected officials, too many to list, but you know who you are, and I sincerely thank you for your assistance and wisdom. Thank you for staying on top of me from the beginning, middle, all the way to the finish line. I hear the echoes. "Steve, make one more call. Walk one more block. One more person to talk to. Post one more yard sign. Get one more endorsement. Post on social media," and the list goes on and on. So for that, I thank you. To the current and prior council, you have given us years of balanced budgets, healthy reserves, and strong financial policies. You took actions to strengthen our balance sheets, whether it was through reaffirming our AAA rating, TOT ballot measure, storm drain assessment, sales tax ballot measure, and making sure we use some of those funds to properly staff our police and fire department. That took a high level of leadership and vision. You also had your fingerprints on helping guide the city through a generational pandemic. Thank you for all for setting the example and solid foundation for all of us to follow. I have been on the other side of this dais as a 35-year employee serving the city of Manhattan Beach. I recently retired with my last 6 years as your finance director. I am confident my institutional knowledge and understanding of local government operation is a plus, and I will hit the ground running for our city. Our city is also very fortunate to have such a dedicated and talented work staff from top down. I am committed to ensuring that our town continues to thrive, but it does so in a way that is sustainable, inclusive, and forward-thinking. Whether it's improving our infrastructure, preserving our natural resources, enhancing public safety, or supporting local businesses, I believe we can create solutions that work for everyone. But I also know that no one person can do this alone. It will take a collaborative, open dialogue and a shared commitment to move our town forward. As I step into this new role, I promise to always listen, always to be transparent, and always to put the needs of our community first. We may not always agree on everything, but we can always find a common ground if we approach each issue with respect, understanding, and a shared goal of making our town the best place to live and work. Lastly, I want to again acknowledge the work of the outgoing council members, Steve Napolitano and Richard Montgomery. Thank you for your service and dedication to this community. Your efforts have laid the foundation for the work ahead, and I look forward to building on your legacy. To my new colleagues, Joe Franklin, Nina Tarnay, and Mayor Pro Tem Lesser and Mayor Howarth, I look forward to working together as a team and getting things done for our community. Lastly, I want to also thank Steve Napolitano for all the Steve votes I got. For those voters who stopped reading their ballots once they read the word Steve under the heading Manhattan Beach Council. So, and Steve, your voice and leadership will forever fill this room, my friend. Thank you again to the voters of our town for your trust. Together, let's work to keep our community a place that we all are proud to call home. Thank you.
To the folks out there. Is it not on? Oh, somebody muted my microphone. Okay. I don't think there can be any doubt that this is a community to be proud of. Tonight was really very special. To those of you not used to kind of this ceremony, this is one for the books. And it's because of the love that folks feel for this community and each other, and we take it very seriously. And I'm so proud and filled with gratitude. And I know we all are. So let me explain what's going to happen. We're going to recess for 15 minutes. Then this council will come back for a short meeting, but we have to come back. But right now, this is the end of our reorganization meeting. We will recess, but if you are, thank you, buddy. This is my work husband. No. I mean, this is the Mayor Pro Tem. And I was about to forget that all of the former mayors who are in attendance, please, including Richard and Steve, please join us down front for the traditional photo of the former mayors. Thank you. We will recess now for 15-ish minutes. Okay. I'm going to reconvene, and I believe we have to do another roll call. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because it's a different council.
Thank you.
So,
Councilmember Franklin?
Here.
Councilmember Tarnay?
Here.
Councilmember Sherillian?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lesser?
Still here?
Mayor Howard?
Present. Okay, thank you. Okay. Item K, approval of agenda and waiver of full ordinances. Councilmember Lesser, you requested to speak.
I request to speak, and I'm going to approve it subject to pulling item number 5, the council assignments, and
Yes.
a clarification regarding item number 6. So I suppose we should pull both, please.
So we'll pull it?
From the consent calendar.
Yeah,
Correct.
got it.
So my motion would be to approve the agenda subject to those 2 items being pulled from the consent calendar.
Okay, so technically, Councilmember Franklin pushed the motion button.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Do you accept with the exception
Yes.
of number?
Mhm.
Okay, great.
5 and 6, right?
5 and 6?
Yes.
Okay, is that clear? May I call for the question? All right.
Motion
Okay.
passes 5-0.
Okay, now, folks, now we recess this city council meeting to a meeting of the Manhattan Beach Capital Improvements Corporation. This is a sort of a perfunctory thing, but we're going to do it. And so I'm going to call this meeting to order, and Madam City Clerk, can you take roll call?
Thank you. Board Member Franklin.
Here.
Councilmember Tarnay.
Here.
Councilmember Sherillian.
Here.
Vice President Lesser.
Here.
President Haworth.
Present. At this time, I'd like to ask if there's any member of the audience who would like to speak in a public comment on the Capital Improvements Corporation. Seeing none in chambers, are there any on Zoom?
No request on Zoom.
Okie dokie. All right. So I need to ask my fellow board of directors someone to make a motion to move board members Napolitano and Montgomery from the Capital Improvements Corporation and to appoint newly elected city council members Nina Tarnay and Steve Sherillian as board members. And I see a motion by Steve Sherillian, which is that? That's your motion?
Yes.
Okay. Seconded by Councilmember Franklin. Call for the question.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, so at this time, don't you love Robert and his rules? At this time, we're going to adjourn the Capital Improvements Corporation meeting and reconvene the regular city council meeting of December 17th. So we go back to the consent calendar, which we've already moved approval with the exception of items 5 and 6. So I need a motion to approve items 7 through 13. All right, it's been moved by Councilmember Lesser and seconded by Councilmember Tarnay. Call for the question. You guys are doing great.
Motion passes 5-0.
I'm moving fast, and you guys are keeping up. I like it.
It's all the training from the clerk's office.
There you go. There you go. All right. Item number 5, Mayor Pro Tem Lesser.
Madam Mayor, thank you. Item number 5 concerns the City Council assignments, and I pulled it principally because there's one assignment that had not been identified, and that was the Manhattan Beach Community Emergency Response Team, the CERT. I'm willing to serve as the delegate, but I also wanted to give other colleagues an opportunity if they wanted to discuss the council assignments.
And I'm fine if we want to discuss that. That was actually a mistake on my part because I thought that I was indicating for you to be, if you could show me since your agenda's open. Sure. So you would be the main person for CERT, and then if somebody else wanted to step up to volunteer to be the alternate, and if you might, yes, go ahead.
I will be the alternate.
You would be the, does that fly with the other colleagues?
Yes.
Look at this. I have high hopes. All right, so let's do, so we need a motion to accept that change to the council grace. So that's been moved by.
Mayor, you could actually adopt the entire list with that
Right.
amendment.
That's kind of what I thought. So now we're adopting this list with this amendment as moved by Councilmember Tarnay and seconded by Councilmember Franklin. Call for the question. Okay. Excellent. Okay, item number.
Sorry.
Whoop.
Motion passes 5-0.
I was counting those chickens before they were hatched. Okay, item number 6, Councilmember Lesser, that's also
I
you.
pulled item number 6 because the original attachment contained a mistake in terms of when our council is meeting in 2025. It includes, the attachment is our proposed calendar for the 2025 year. It shows us meeting on Tuesday, the 28th of January, when I believe, in fact, it should have been shaded to indicate that we're meeting on Tuesday, the 21st.
Okay, thank you for catching that. We don't need to make a motion with that, correct?
We need to adopt it, I think. Is that right?
Oh, so I need a motion
If
to
there's-
adopt as amended.
Yes.
No, there's no public comment. Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Franklin and seconded by Councilmember Tarnay. Call for the question. Okay.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, so that was a consent calendar. There are no public hearings. So moving on to general business, item number 14, and that would be our Human Resources Director, Lisa Jenkins.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and congratulations and welcome to Councilmember Shrillian and Councilmember Tarnay. We have a very brief general business item for you this evening. This relates to the interim appointment of Michael Lang as the fire chief, interim fire chief, following his retirement while we conduct a search for the recruitment. In accordance with Government Code 54953C3, we will ask the mayor to read a oral report on behalf of the legislative body related to this item.
Thank you. Okay, so as the community is aware, Chief Lang has announced his retirement effective December 30th, 2024. We are fortunate that he has agreed to stay on board as our interim fire chief while a recruitment is underway for his replacement. The resolution and employment agreement attached to the staff report fulfill CalPERS requirements for his interim appointment. In accordance with government code requirements, I'm orally reporting the hourly rate that will be provided in connection with this appointment. Chief Lang will be paid an hourly rate of $152, and he will receive no additional benefits from the city as a retiree. Okay. So is there anything else in the report before I open it up to public comments?
No.
Are there any, do you have a question?
I do.
You have a question, Mayor Pro Tem Lesser.
I just wanted to confirm the estimated duration of the interim contract. I noticed that it has a cap at the end of the term of 960 hours, but is staff estimating, given the likely time it will take to recruit, how long this might be in place?
Currently, we've retained the services of a recruitment firm, Coffin Associates. They'll be initiating the recruitment before the end of the year. And we're estimating to conduct the recruitment process in the spring. And it's a pretty thorough selection process for this level of position. So I would anticipate probably by the end of the current fiscal year.
Which is then the end of June?
End of June.
30th.
Thank
yeah.
you.
And confirming the cap probably relates as much to a CalPERS requirement, right? Because once somebody is retired, they have a cap on the hours they can then work as a contractor.
That's correct. The 960 hours is a CalPERS requirement, and the resolution satisfies that and other CalPERS requirements by having an end date. PERS requires an end date. So what is in there is either 960 hours when a permanent appointment is made, or December 31st of 2025, whichever comes first.
Gotcha.
December is the end date, and we put that date in there as the specific date, just in the event that initial recruitment efforts are unsuccessful and we need to go out again or something along those lines. But essentially, it's until a permanent appointment is made.
Great. Any other questions? Okay. Open it up to public comments in the chambers. I do not see any. Are there any comments on Zoom?
No request on Zoom.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to, and I usually don't as mayor, but I would like to adopt resolution number 24-0139 and offer my sincere gratitude to Chief Lang for agreeing to this. That's very professional, very giving. I know you'd love to be with your family up in Uplands, but we are so grateful that you will see us through this process. So thank you very much.
Here, here.
Okay, so I motioned, and it was seconded by Councilwoman Tarnay. Call for the question.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay. So are there any city council requests and reports, including AB 1234 reports? Anybody? I'm going to attend tomorrow the sanitation district meeting, but I will make a report on that in January. Councilmember
I
Lesser?
had one follow-up question, a public comment, and that has to do with traffic calming on Valley and when
We're
that
not
might
there.
be.
We're not there
We're not
yet.
there? I'm sorry, I thought you said request. Got it?
It's future, it's,
Go ahead.
I would call it a future, okay, go ahead. Oh, we're fighting again. No, I see, you're doing, I was going to, okay, go ahead. I was going to do it on a future agenda, but go ahead.
Can I just clarify with the city manager, does this need to be a future agenda item request, or is this already scheduled for a future council meeting?
I was advised by the acting Community Development Director Heiss that this is scheduled for February 4th on council's agenda.
February 4th.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm sorry that I stepped on that. Will someone let Mr. Williams know that this is coming? This is about the traffic calming measures on Valley between 10th and 1st Street. So that would be great. Do any other colleagues want to add anything to a future agenda?
It's the review of traffic calming. Make sure the
I can address
terminology,
that.
it's not like we're installing traffic.
No, they might be suggesting traffic calming measures.
The PPIC made recommendations
Yes.
of traffic calming measures that we will bring forward to the council for consideration.
Yeah, we can decide to do or not to do, as they say. Okay. Madam City Manager, do you have a report for us?
I do not have a report, but I did want to take this advantage of this opportunity to welcome on board and congratulate Councilmember Shirelian and Councilmember Tarnay, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. City Attorney.
Well, they've seen me before say ditto, but actually, I wanted to congratulate both of you. I think it's going to be great working with both of you, and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Terrific. There's some informational items, commission minutes. Is there anything, Madam City Clerk, that you need to announce under informational items? No. Okay. It says here closed session, but we don't have another closed session right now, right?
We do not have a date right now.
Okay. Well, there's one on the agenda. Okay, where's my gavel? With that, I would like to adjourn this. Nope, one more thing.
Sorry, I forgot to say congratulations to Councilmember Franklin as well. I did not mean to do that.
If I wasn't so tough, that would have hurt.
It
Ditto.
is. I mean, ditto.
Good, yeah. Thank you. What am I, chopped liver?
I know. Yes. Welcome, Joe. Welcome. All right. It's my pleasure now to adjourn this meeting of the December 17th, our last meeting of this year. I'm adjourning it at what time, do we say? Aha. 8, oh, my clock just went away, 8:40. 8:37. This meeting is adjourned.